Well, I'm going to drill the leg holes today in the seat. So got a hole there and a hole there. I'm going to be drilling, and so typically I do it with a T-bevel square, but I'm trying to eliminate tools, so I've eliminated the T-bevel square, which means glasses. There we go. Which means that instead of using the resultant angle and the siding angle to drill that hole, I've used a rise and run. And then right over here, well, I am using the siding angle anyway, but instead of the resultant angle where I'd use a T-bevel square, I've used the rise and run. And you can figure it, you know, with a rule and cut it out yourself, or you can just use this little pattern that I've got for you right over here for the front leg and for the rear leg. Now, in doing so, I have realized that there's a correction on the plans. So I show to drill this hole at 11/16 diameter, there and there. Now the reason that says 11/16 is because that's what it is on all my chairs, is 11/16. But since I was trying to eliminate tools here, we're using a 5/8 drill bit to put the undercarriage together. And so I thought, well, I can just use a 5/8 bit there and just make that taper just a little bit smaller. So I eliminated that, but I forgot, so I show it on the what's called the turnings page, which would be the legs. They're not really turnings. But I take it down to 5/8 there, but then I forgot to change it right here. So it'd be good if you only drill the 5/8 hole instead of 11/16 hole, for those of you that have this plan. Okay, so I believe we're ready. I've got the seat set up over there, so we'll just go over there and bore it. Okay, so lined up. You know, one mistake that I see every once in a while that people make is instead of leaning this way to drill this hole, they lean back that way. So don't do that. It's a pretty big mistake. Okay, so I've just got this now. I actually made a mistake, not a big one, but I typically will, you know, on this chair, I'll bore these holes before I carve. Now sometimes I bore them after I carve, but on this chair I bore them before I carve so I can set this thing up just like right next to it, or like that on something that's flat. It's okay, I can just set it right over there, but you might want to bore them before you carve it. But I can look over there and see that, and it ain't get close enough. It's fine. Now I don't want to bore through, I just want the point to come through. I'll come back to the other side. Now take a look at it. It looks good. And then I'm just lined up along this line right here. Just there's my mark right there, if you can see it, that I'm going to. I just line up the drill bit over top of that. Okay, so it took me 21 turns for that point to come through, so I'll count all these other ones. That'll be pretty close. So you want to line this up to where it's, you know, parallel with your sight line there. Let's see. That looks good. Alright, so now I'll need to change out. That was for the rear leg. front. Now, okay, it's flipped over. So before I bored back through these holes, I went ahead and laid out my siding lines because I've got the center of the hole now. So there's my points, center line of the seat, and siding line for the rear legs, siding line for the front legs. So now I can clamp it down and bore back through and taper it to the legs here. So that's what I'll do. Let's see, I believe I can get it about right there maybe. Let's see, where's my club go? Okay, so much for the bit brace, the auger bit. Now I'll get the reamer. So I've got my legs and I've got the tenons sized, like I've sized them the way that I sized them for the post back in a couple of videos there, so you could go back and look at that if you need to. And this was the block. You just put some black milk paint in there or some whatever you got that'll mark it, and then you can just keep twisting it around in there and getting the mark and shaving it with your draw knife. You know, another way of doing it, I'm going to be hooking up a spring pole lathe for the tenons on the stretchers when we get to that point. But you could also do that on the legs if they didn't work too bad with you, or if they, you know, split out pretty good. But if they've got crooks to them, that's okay. You can do it by hand, and those crooks can be used to kind of enhance the chair. So if you've got, if I've got like two that maybe come close to matching with some bends in them, I might choose to put them on the rear, in the rear leg, and I would turn those bows back and out. If you've got them that you need to use on the front leg, then I would turn the crook to where it comes in. I've turned them where it goes out before, and it doesn't look too good. So turn where it goes in and out. So this is going to be a front leg right here. These have been, it's about 5/8 right there, and so with the reamer, I've already introduced this and talked about it and told you where you can, you know, make you one. It's just you can just use a compass saw blade, and if you buy a compass saw new for $5 or $6 or so, I think, or used to be able to, Or you can find used ones for not much at all. I've seen them for 50 cents, and you just take the blade out and sharpen it, 45 bevel, something like that, and then turn a burr on it and make one of these to match. So so we can get, let's see, where's my, there's the front leg right there. I can set it right up, right like that, or like I did with the post, you could draw you a line coming off of this and sight it the same way you would sight here. So once again, if you go back to that post video, I go over it a little closer. So you can, for the sighting angle, I can set it up right like that. My bandsaw's in the way. And you can connect the 3 points and see which way you need to go, either left or right. And this one's looking good. And then I can take it and set it up just with the rise and run angle. And what you want, though, you can't set it up against the Reamer. That's what I was trying to do, and I'm sure some of y'all were looking at that going, he's wrong there, and I was wrong there. You get it to where the blade's perpendicular, and then you just set it up right like that, and just look at it. So I see I got to go up a little bit, okay? And then you'll want to check your depth. So the first thing you need to do is come out. So I'm not even going to check a measurement. If you look at the measurement I'm going to be measuring to, is to this, the largest diameter right here, that point. And on the plans I show you're measuring from the obtuse angle side of that sighting angle, 9 3/4, I believe is what it says. And so I've got 3/4 of an inch to go down right there. So I've got plenty of time to think about it. And I can clean the reamer a little bit. Okay. So let's see what I held there. If I did good or got it off. I got it off a little bit. I gotta go to the left. Look at that. I'm dead on it, so just a little bit left. Now, before I take it out, I'll check. See what I did. So, yeah, I went up just a little bit. It'd be nice if I came back just a hair. So back and left just the least little bit. So now let me check my... So it's coming through a bit now. So you want your grain orientation, you want your growth rings running perpendicular to the long wood fibers of the mortised piece. So you'd be looking at the ellipses right here. And so let's see what we got here. Well, it's close. It's about 7/8, 13/16 or so. So I certainly don't have much room to play around with. And so what did I say? I said I was off. I needed to come back and go to the left a little bit. So let's see if I can pick that up in just that distance. There we go. Okay. That's probably it. Probably can't go any deeper. And I got that one pretty good. And of course if you're off, then you just got what you got. It'll be fine. And you got that one pretty good. So yeah, I was able to bring it back in. So let me get this with the orientation. So like I said, I want the growth rings to be perpendicular to the longwood fibers. But the other thing is that we're going to have a leg over here, and you want to be drilling just dead into that flat for that leg, and that the rear legs are going to be in just a little bit. So I'm going to be compromising that just a few degrees just by turning it to where once I get that leg in there, I'll be turning it to where the flats face each other. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and ream the other three here while you aren't looking, and then I'll come back and show you what I'll do next, which I'll think of it by the time that comes around. Okay, we got all four legs now. Four, that's always good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next thing I'll do is to bevel off the bottom of the seat, because the top's finished. Bevel off the bottom, and we'll be ready to put together the undercarriage part of this thing.